They didn't control you overnight. They studied you first, your kindness, your patience, your need to understand, and then they used it. Not loudly, not obviously, slowly. You gave chances, you explained yourself, you tried to keep peace, and somehow you lost it. Most people never notice this part. Manipulation doesn't start with lies. It starts with trust. You open up, you care, you show your real self, and that's when it begins. They test your limits, they watch your reactions, they learn what you will tolerate, and you don't even see it. Have you ever felt like you were trying your best, but still felt wrong? Like no matter what you did, it was never enough. But here's what most people don't realize. The problem was never your effort. It was what you allowed. And the first lesson you learn changes everything about how you see people. The first lesson is harsh, but it will save you. Not everyone deserves access to you. That truth. It feels uncomfortable at first, because you're used to being open, you're used to giving chances, you're used to understanding others. But something strange starts happening. You begin to notice patterns, the same excuses, the same behavior, the same disrespect, in different forms, and it confuses you. Maybe they didn't mean it. Maybe I'm overthinking. So you stay, you try again, you explain more, but nothing changes. Most people miss this part. The more you tolerate, the more it continues. Because silence looks like permission, and that's when it hits you. You weren't being patient. You were being tested. Your limits, your standards, your self-respect. And every time you ignored the signs, you made it easier for them. But here's what most people don't realize. The moment you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. And this is where everything changes. Because the next lesson forces you to act differently. You stop explaining, not because you don't care, but because you finally understand. People who respect you don't need constant reminders, and that's when something shifts. You start setting boundaries, small ones at first. You say no without guilt. You take space without fear. You stop over-explaining your choices. And it feels strange, because they expected something else. They expected you to adjust, to stay soft, to keep accepting everything. But you didn't. You became calm. And this is where everything changes. You realize not every situation needs a reaction. Not every person deserves your energy. Most people never notice this moment. It's when you stop trying to be understood and start choosing yourself. And that quiet confidence, it disrupts control. Because manipulation needs emotion. It needs your reaction, your confusion, your attention. But you stopped feeding it. And when that happens, they don't stay comfortable. They start reacting instead. And that's when something unexpected begins. At first, they push harder. More messages, more pressure, more attempts to get a reaction. But you stay the same, calm, clear, unmoved. And that's when something strange starts happening. They lose control, because the old version of you is no longer there. Most people miss this part. Manipulators don't like boundaries. They rely on access, on emotional reactions, on your willingness to stay. But now, things are different. You don't argue, you don't chase, you don't explain. And that silence, it forces them to face something new. Limits. They realize they can't reach you the same way. They can't confuse you. They can't shift your reality. And that's when it hits them. You've changed. But here's what most people don't realize. It's not about them losing control. It's about you gaining awareness. And the most powerful part, who you become next. makes it almost impossible to control you again. You become someone who sees things early. That's the real power. You notice tone, you notice patterns, you notice what's not being said, and you trust it. Most people ignore that feeling, but you don't anymore, and that changes everything. You don't give quick access, you don't ignore red flags, you don't stay where you feel small, and that's when it hits you. Strength isn't about being hard. It's about being aware. It's about choosing peace over pressure, clarity over confusion, distance over disrespect. And that calm detachment, it protects you. Because now, you don't need to fight control. You avoid it. You see it before it grows, and that makes you different. So let me ask you, have you ever looked back at a situation and realized you were being slowly controlled? And now that you see it, will you go back to who you were, or stay as who you've become?